Dad.
Okay, let's do a quick review of what we did last time. We started section 6.4. We're going to be moving on to 6.5 today, which I know seems a little weird.
Actually, quick question.
Yes.
When do we have a test?
Probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Will you?
Okay. Well, we could potentially have a pop quiz though.
I don't.
Soon.
That won't do.
Soon.
That one.
Soon.
Easier.
Okay. All right. So here we are. We're on section 6.5 today. We're going to be what they call finding the base. Okay. This is our section that we're in. Yep. Connor, just take a seat wherever you like. You guys don't need your notes today. What was that?
He's gonna probably charge.
Plugins in the back. I only have one, so it's way back there. Just
You got
leave
that
your
one
computer
right there,
back there, plug it in. We'll use it in a little bit later.
Or you got that one, don't you?
Yeah, but
Or will that
that's a
mess
lot.
with the rest of the system?
So, all right, we're gonna be finding the base. Let's do a quick review of the word problems that we did the other day, just to make sure you understand what we're doing on those. So we're gonna review section 6.4, which in our case was word-based problems. The big thing was knowing our vocab terms: percentage,
Percentage.
rate, and base. The goal today is we're going to really talk about how the problems yesterday are different than the ones we look at today. And I'm going to try to show you the idea of how this works. Okay? So let's do a quick review. So this is a review problem. We're probably only going to do one. This is the stuff that was due in the homework that's due today. That was your page, 149, 1 through 14. Okay? This is the style of problem it said. It said, like, what is 14% of, 20? That was the type of question that they asked. Okay, so if that was your problem, here's the idea. This is your word is. So this is the equal sign. You have numbers on this side. We have the word of, which means multiply, and we have the 20. Now, the only thing we had to do on your homework problems was convert this 14%. How do you write 14% as a number? As a digit? As a decimal?
0.14.
Yeah, 0.14. Because you always move the decimal 2 spots. I know one of your problems yesterday that I saw in the book was something like this. 2.2% of 5. Like, that's what it asked for. Well, the idea was that you had to write this as a decimal. This is how you write 2.2%. Okay. So you move the decimal over 2 spots this direction, and this is what the number looks like, and you take that times 5. That was the one thing I was kind of worried about yesterday. Did you catch on for how many times you had to move the decimal on that percent? 2 spots. Then all you have to do is type in this in your calculator. So it looks like all 3 of you have a calculator. Maybe Connor doesn't. Let me go grab one here. I'd like you to type these in, and let's actually find a quick calculation here. Let's do a quick number. Okay. There you go. I like the new shoes.
Wait, are we doing the one in the green down there?
Yeah, just this one. Type this one in.
2.8.
Okay, say it again.
2.8.
2.8. Okay, is everyone getting roughly about that number? Sounds about right.
Yep.
Okay. That's the answer I'm looking for. Now, what you were doing on these problems, you even though I didn't say, I just said they were word-based problems, you were actually finding the percentage. That's what the section has you do on all of those problems. The reason why, the number that's over by itself, that's by the word is, this is the percentage number. It's a small portion of the base. Okay, 2.8 is a smaller number than the 20. 20 was our base. So that's what we were doing. Okay, that's all the homework problems you guys had. The only thing I was worried about were these based problems where you had to do something like this, where you had to move the decimal over 2 spots and then actually do a quick calculation here. So, can you guys, can somebody type this in for me in your calculator? 0.022 times 5. It's going to be really small. 0.11. That's your answer on that one. Okay. And I knew it was gonna be ridiculously small. We're only doing 2% of a small number, so it's gonna be really tiny. I'm gonna leave these examples on the board right now. What I'd like you to do is finish up the homework that I assigned yesterday. I'll give you, 15 minutes. And then what we're gonna do is after that, we're gonna come back, we're gonna take a few more notes because we need to go into that new section. We have a brand new problem that looks like these, slightly different. Does that make sense? But I don't want to confuse you yet. So I'm going to give you this, I'm going to let you take some time to work on the assignment that I gave you yesterday. About 15 minutes, we'll see if we can get it done, turned in. Because it looks like you guys are on a pretty good pace, because these are pretty straightforward. I'm going to leave these examples, that's what you're doing in that homework. So I'm going to stop the camera, I'll let you have about 15 minutes here, and then we'll start back up. Alright, so make sure you have your notes out. We're going to take a few more notes. We have brand new problems here.
I had only 4 left.
Okay, that's good. Maybe after we're done today, I'll have a little bit of time here. All right, the new problems we're doing today, we're going to be finding the base. Now, let me give you an example of what we're talking about. Let's go. 16 is 20% of what number? So this is the first type of problem. We're gonna try to do 3 examples, and then we're gonna look at an activity that I have on the Chromebook that I shared with you already. Some of you already noticed it in your email. All right, so
check my email. Yeah.
So all right, this is called finding the base. It looks exactly like the last problem. Agree? Slight difference. Okay, so if we're doing this problem is 16. The is an equal sign, just like always. 20%, that's 20%, right? Well, we make that a decimal, so you make that 0.2, right? Because you move the decimal over 2 spots, that's how it always works. We have the of, which means multiplying. The problem is, we don't know that number. It's not as easy as just taking a number times a number and then solving, because the x is not on the other side. The x actually is being multiplied by a 0.2. This is what we talked about the other day. The trick is on this problem, if the x is not by itself, because right now, let me compact this up so it looks a little bit easier. This is what it looks like. And yes, I'm using an x because that's my variable I picked. If that's your problem, we need to get the x by itself. So what I always tell you is to take the number that's attached to the x, take it to the other side, and you do the exact opposite. It's called an inverse operation. In fact, I'm going to write that word on the board. An inverse operation in math is doing an exact opposite of what your operation is. Okay, so an inverse operation. So if they're multiplying, so they multiply, what is the opposite operation of multiplying? What's the exact opposite of multiplying? You have 4 operations. Say it.
Dividing.
Divide. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So instead of multiplying, we're going to divide by that number. So we're going to take the number that's attached to the x, you're going to move it over, and you're going to put it on the bottom over here, and you're going to divide by it. Now, here's what I'd like you to do. Take out your calculator, and here's what I'd like you to type in. Type in 16, hit the little division sign, the little division button, and then type in 0.2, and then hit equals.
80.
80. Now I know that seemed weird. You're like, I just divided and it just gave me a bigger number. Because usually when you divide, it always makes things smaller, right? But when you divide by decimals, you get bigger numbers. Now there is a way you can do this where you can type in the little ABC button. You can type in 16, hit ABC, type in 0.2, and then hit the equal sign, or 20, sorry. And it should give you the same number, it should give you the 80 as well. If you use the ABC button, it's the same as division. It'll just simplify it for you.
Just another
No, you
division
can't.
sign.
You can't, it won't actually type it. What does it say?
Syntax error.
Oh, seriously? Can I see it? It usually allows that. ABC button. 0.2 or 0.2.
Oh, I just divided normally.
Yeah, because if you divide, that's weird that your calculator can't actually handle that. Usually when you type in things like this, it's totally fine.
I try to erase, press
So.
clear and then on, and it wipes the memory.
Weird. That's really odd. That because on every calculator except for I guess mine, you usually can handle that. But usually I just hit the division sign. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense? Now, why this number makes sense to me, like when you guys said 80, we're finding the base, the number that comes after the word of, this is always the base, it's the number that comes after of. Bases have to be the biggest number in that whole problem. They have to be bigger than any of the numbers that were on that problem, other than the percent could have been anything. But it's the bigger number versus the other two. Now, some people like this. You see this problem and some people are like, okay, that makes sense. You know, I just move the number over and divide, type it in. Some people don't, and we have a second strategy, which we'll probably look at Monday. Today, we're going to focus on this one. This is the algebra way of doing it. Make sense? Okay, if you haven't already, write that problem down, please. Put it in your notes somewhere. We're going to do one more, and I'm going to just change the look of it a little bit, so it looks a little bit different. And then we're gonna get to our new problem here. So, okay, so write this down. I want to see it. I want to see it in your notes. I'm going to walk around and check. I'll give you a little bit of time here. Again, we're gonna do another one of these, but I'm gonna just change the look, but I'm gonna try to compare it. So you can, like, if you have this in your notes, you can compare it to the new one. You're like, okay, they have the same structure to them when you actually do the math.
No, that's not well. There.
Okay.
I wrote down everything you did.
Good. All right. Sam, you good?
I'm still going.
Okay, that's fine. Keep writing. Good. Got another example, and then we'll see if we can look at our Chromebook and try an activity here. That Chromebook activity is something we're going to work on next week as well. It's not something I want to just do for one day. We're going to actually kind of practice it throughout the week next week. See if we can get better at it. Good. Okay. All right. Here's the second problem. So it's still finding the base style problem, but I said I was going to change the look, even though like the math you do is still the same. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's go. 11%. One number is
Better.
okay. There you go. Okay, I'd like you to write this sentence down if you haven't already. 11% of what number is 4? Now we're going to try to solve this one. We're going to try to write out the actual equation for it, the problem. Then we're going to look at how to solve it. Now this one is slightly different than the other one. And we're going to try to talk about how this works. I'm going to try to kind of show you more visual aids on Monday. So
It's of time.
yeah, so we're still going to be multiplying it. Okay, so if you're still writing down 11%, how do I write this as a number?
0.11.
0.11, perfect. Okay. The of, Eric, you just said it a little bit ago. Times, we're going to be multiplying. Sam, when they say what number, what do we need?
X.
X, any variable you like, you want to use X?
Yeah.
Let's use X, I like it. We're back. Okay, Connor, the is. Equal sign. And then Eric, last one?
4.
4, just the number 4. Don't need it for okay, now at this point, let me compact this so it actually looks like a normal math problem. Sorry, now they're too spread out from you to like the look of it. X equals 4. Okay, so there's my normal math problem. Yes, there is multiplying between the X and the O, and be 0.11. Okay, do you see that it's basically the same problem we just did a little bit ago? Like it's the same structure. The only difference, they put the equal sign on the other side. So it's, the X on the other side. You still do the same math. So if I want to get x by itself, what do I have to do with this 0.11, the 0.11, or 11%? What do I have to do with it? If I need to get x by itself, what do I need to do with this 0.11? What did we just do on the last problem?
Moved it.
Moved it. We moved it to the other side. And what operation do we do?
We divided.
Divided, yep. And that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna take 4, we're gonna divide by 0.11. Because we're finding the base on these problems. So I'd like you to type that in your calculator, please. 4 divided by 0.11.
I guess it's 36.
36.
So it's just continuously saying 36.
36 point, 36, 36, 36, 36, 36,
And so on.
Yeah.
It goes on for infinity.
Yep, it's a repeating decimal, so it's an infinite length.
Oh, the repeating decimals. Oh, I love those ones.
Oh, yes.
Fuel.
Okay, today, if you get your Chromebook out, I shared a link with you via email. It's got some of these problems in it in words, and I want to see if we can write down 1 or 2 of them into equation. You don't need to actually type on the actual problem itself. I want to see if we can actually write down the math problem that the story problem is actually saying. So, whenever they say a percent, that number goes here. When they say the word of, you're multiplying some number on it. When they have is, that's an equal sign. Or they say is totaled, and then the other numbers is on the other side. I want to see if we can at least write down some problems. So, Connor, if you need to go grab your Chromebook and open it up and get in your email, or in your school email, and then try to get logged in that page. I want to see if we can write down a story problem from that website. Okay? And again, just for the purposes of today, because we're kind of running a long time, I probably won't record this next part, so I'll just turn off the camera. But we're gonna try to write down some of those numbers from that website.